Let's be honest, literally nobody looks forward to paying property taxes. It's kind of one of those annual headaches we all just dread, right? But here's the good news. Thanks to modern digital portals, handling it right from your couch has absolutely never been easier. In this explainer, we're going to walk through the exact step-by-step process to pay your Rowan County property tax online. We're also going to cover some pretty severe compounding penalties you'll face if you miss a deadline by even just a few days. So, grab your paperwork and, okay, let's dive into this. Here is a quick roadmap for what we'll be covering today. The Tale of Two Rowans, preparation, North Carolina steps, Kentucky steps, avoiding delinquency traps, and finally, troubleshooting and tips. Starting right off with Section 1, the Tale of Two Rowans. Now, before you even touch your keyboard, you absolutely must identify which jurisdiction your property actually sits in. Because believe it or not, there are two completely distinct Rowan counties in the United States, and their tax systems are entirely different. Rowan County, North Carolina, uses a consolidated system. Down there, the tax collector handles taxes for the county, 10 municipalities, and 22 fire districts all in one single place. It's a one-stop shop for the funds that keep essential services running. Rowan County, Kentucky, on the other hand, uses a split dual-agency system. It's divided right down the middle. The sheriff's department handles your current taxes, and the county clerk handles delinquent taxes. And this brilliantly illustrates why knowing your exact location is step 1. Moving on to Section 2, setting up for online payment. To make this whole process as painless as possible, you really want to gather your materials first. If your property is in North Carolina, you'll need your parcel ID, your account number, or the exact physical address. Now, if you're in Kentucky, listen up. It is absolutely essential that you have the physical tax postcard that the sheriff mails out in October, because you're going to need the specific account references printed right on it to proceed. And of course, both groups will need a valid credit or debit card or your bank's routing and account numbers if you want to pay via an electronic check. All right, let's look at Section 3, North Carolina steps. We'll walk through the North Carolina process first. Step 1, just navigate to the official county portal at tax.rowancountync.gov. Step 2, you'll query the database to pull up your specific bill. Step 3, select how you want to pay and enter those details. And Step 4, and pay attention, this is absolutely crucial. You have to submit your credit card payment before 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you want it credited for that exact same day. If you're paying by electronic check instead, that deadline is actually way earlier, at 5 p.m. sharp. Now, when you're actually in that North Carolina database, there are a couple of major, kind of weird quirks you need to be aware of. If you aren't, the portal might just fail to find your property altogether. First, if you're searching by your address, you have to omit street suffixes. So if you live on Old Concord Road, literally just type Old Concord. Including the word road might trigger a frustrating search error. Second, if you search by name, the system strictly requires a last name first format. So John Doe has to be typed in as Doe John. Let's talk about the cost of convenience for a second. When you pay online in North Carolina through their primary tax search and pay portal, the minimum convenience fee for using a credit card is $2.50 or 2.95% of the transaction amount, whichever is larger. However, if you choose to pay using an ACH electronic check directly from your bank account, that fee drops to a flat $1.50, totally regardless of how massive your tax bill might be. And hey, saving those few extra dollars definitely adds up over time, right? Okay, pivoting smoothly to Section 4, Kentucky steps. So, if your property is in Rowan County, Kentucky, your process looks very different. First up, you'll visit rowancountysheriff.net. Second, and I can't stress this enough, this is a vital technical requirement. You must disable your browser's pop-up blockers for this site. Why? Because in Step 3, the sheriff's website actually redirects you to a secure third-party payment portal called CP Teller, and that portal opens up in a completely new window. Finally, in Step 4, just punch in the details from that October postcard we talked about to finalize the transaction. The Kentucky fee structure is also pretty specific. If your tax bill happens to be under $60, there's a flat $1.50 fee for using a credit card. But if your bill is over $60, the fee jumps to 2.49% of the total transaction. So the crucial point is that understanding these percentages allows you to calculate the true cost of using your credit card, especially compared to just mailing a traditional paper check, which carries zero processing fees at all. Let's move to Section 5, avoiding delinquency traps. Honestly, the main reason we want to master these online portals is to avoid missing deadlines because the penalties are no joke. Let's map out the statutory calendars side by side. In North Carolina, taxes are technically due September 1st, but penalties don't actually kick in until January 6th, which gives you a really generous window. Kentucky, though, totally different rhythm. The sheriff only collects between November 1st and April 15th. At the close of business on April 15th, the sheriff just stops taking payments entirely. Then, on April 16th, your account is immediately flagged as delinquent and shipped over to the county clerk. To show you exactly why Kentucky's April 16th transition is so terrifying, let's walk through the math. Say you have a base tax bill of $1,000. Missing the early deadlines starts stacking 5% and 10% penalties. But the second it hits the clerk's office, bam, a 10% clerk fee and a massive 20% county attorney collection fee are instantly tacked on, plus compounding monthly interest. Literally, in just a few short months, a simple $1,000 tax bill rockets up to over $1,650. And it gets scarier. When that Kentucky tax bill goes to the clerk, it becomes what's legally known as a certificate of delinquency. This is a statutory tax lien directly against your physical real estate. And if left unpaid, the Rowan County clerk is legally required to sell these certificates at a public, lottery-style auction to third-party private investors. Those investors can then add their own super high administrative fees, and eventually they can even institute foreclosure proceedings on your property. So yeah, you definitely want to pay on time. Now for our final part, Section 6, Troubleshooting and Tips. Even with the absolute best preparation, things can still go sideways. So what actually happens if the county website is down for maintenance right when you're trying to pay, or your online payment gets unexpectedly rejected? The most important thing here is knowing exactly how to handle these exceptions so you aren't unfairly penalized. First things first, make sure you are actually in the right portal. In North Carolina, if you're trying to pay property taxes on a registered motor vehicle, you won't use the county portal at all. You have to go directly through the state's MyMDV portal. Over in Kentucky, if you try to log into the sheriff's portal on April 16th or later, you will be completely locked out. You have to physically contact the county clerk to pay those delinquent taxes, and just a heads up, by law, the clerk's office cannot accept partial payments. It's all or nothing. Building a few simple digital habits can seriously save you a ton of money and stress. Set calendar reminders for July if you're in NC and October if you're in KY. Always, always save your confirmation emails as digital receipts. If you're entering bank details for an ACH payment in North Carolina, triple check your routing number. A rejected e-check will hit you with a painful $25 penalty. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is for Kentucky residents, if you fall behind, you can actually contact the county attorney's office to set up an installment payment plan. Doing this legally shields your property from being sold off to those third-party investors we talked about earlier. Quick reality check here. While we've covered the exact steps, fees, and penalties as they stand today, it's vital to remember that statutory calendars, third-party processing fees, and website domains can and totally do change. You should always verify current details with official Rowan County government sources. And obviously, if you're facing severe delinquencies, please consult a qualified tax professional or legal advisor to help navigate your specific situation. Which brings us to our final thought. The convenience of these online portals is pretty much unmatched, but it requires your active attention to the fine print. So ask yourself, are you entirely sure which Rowan County system applies to you? And more importantly, do you have the exact documents required to ensure your payment clears the portal before the deadline hits? Don't wait until the last minute. Take control of your tax obligations today.